Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope everybody's doing well today. I am here to start my series a few days late on making Christmas presents and things, decorations, ornaments. And when I make my stuff, my Christmas things, a lot of it is I use them not only for my own decorations, but I give them out as presents. So one thing that I make pretty often, and I actually have it for a while because I made so many of them, I had kind of a stash, but I make these little I make ornaments out of these little tins, and I don't know, they have like a rustic but yet glamorous kind of look to them. This is one I just made today, and this one actually isn't rusted at all, and that I did it this way because I wanted to let people realize you can get kind of the same effect without rusting if you don't want to go through that step. And that's kind of, I'm going to show you how to do that today, and also show you the rusted way too, and just to give you an idea of the possibilities of what you can do. But these are Tart tins, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. I have some other ones here that I rusted. Here's a little heart shape, a long shape, a little triangle, whatever. They're smaller ones. I got mine on Amazon, and I bought these on Amazon, and if I can find the link, I'll go ahead and post it. But they're pretty inexpensive, and you know, I don't buy them for baking, but or doing anything, because I don't do that. It's a great way to use maybe some of the stuff you already have around. My thing for me is I am trying to do this series, making things that are relatively inexpensive but yet unique, and something people, you know, will like. And I know I think that the people that I've given these to genuinely really like them. So anyway, I am going to be making more out of this larger size Tart tin. So I might do a few of these others. I'm not sure yet, but I did want to point out a few things about the rusting and how you don't necessarily have to do that. But I just want to show you real quickly how easy it is to do it. I actually have an entire jar here full of my rust solution, and I want to tell you that this stuff keeps for a while. In fact, it's kind of bubbling right now. It's going to make a mess. I need to pour some of it in here, but it's overflowing. Anyway, this stuff in here honestly is gold, and you can reactivate it. I keep it in a jar. I use it to kind of stain things if I want them to be rusty, but it's super easy to do it. And the last couple of times I did a video like this, I referred people to my video, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is. Put some salt in there. I don't even measure. I really don't. Just this peroxide from the dollar store. Okay. And usually I make a lot bigger batch than this. Okay. So this is just really a small amount. And I put vinegar. I like to buy extra strength, 6% acidity, because to use for this purpose, because what happens with the vinegar is the vinegar basically is what breaks down the metal. And if you have a stronger vinegar, then it's just gonna be a stronger mixture. Now, I will tell you one thing, that using your old mixture and reactivating it actually works better than starting from scratch, because the rust that's in there before and everything, it helps oxidize it. So that is, you know, it'll just rust faster, okay? So that's why I keep it in a jar. And you do have to add a little extra salt in there and maybe a little peroxide. Sometimes vinegar. Usually the vinegar part's okay. And then you'll see it's kind of activating and bubbling and doing whatever. And then you know it's working. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. And you kind of have to watch it because some of these I let set overnight and that they rusted that much. And all of these I just did a little while ago. I probably didn't have them in there for more than 30 minutes. And I actually like the patina on this better than this. Okay, so, you know, you just have to decide how you want it. This is actually, probably needs a little more peroxide. I think I put too much vinegar. Usually I measure, it's, you know, half vinegar, half peroxide, and then salt. And the salt's very important because, you know, just think of when things rust. But I will tell you that if you keep your old solution when it starts to rust and reuse it and then add just a little peroxide or whatever to it, that stuff will reactivate much faster. The rust particles will be like at the bottom of the jar. Mix it up. Use those because it will work so quick. This is working. I can see it oxidizing already. But I'm just saying it'll work so quick and you just keep it and I reuse it and reuse it. And the more you use it, the better it is. You just have to kind of, usually it's the salt that you need because it's already dissolved and whatever. And maybe a little extra peroxide. Most of the time the vinegar, it's still in there and you don't really have to mess with it. Anyway, I'm going to leave this aside. I just wanted to show people that it's super, super easy. And don't limit yourself to just the Tart tins. You can use charms. You can use all kinds of stuff that you may want to use in the project. If you do not want to go through the trouble of the rusting or the next part that I show you, I use alcohol ink, and I had a whole thing about this to age things. Now, I don't think it looks as cool as this oxidizing, okay? Which honestly, guys, this is still wet. It took minutes in my already rusted solution. So, and you'll see this is already, yeah, this is already changing. Yep. Here, I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. This is the one that I put in, okay? And you saw what I did. And look how it looks already. See, to me, that by itself is cool. You don't have to do anything else to that. But I'm going to leave it in there. And you can see how the rust is already in there. Okay, so if you want to try this without doing the rust, even though you saw how extremely easy that is, we're going to also do it with this alcohol ink. You can use any alcohol ink. I use mushroom because it's kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of a grayish, dark brown kind of look to it. But I think on this one I may put some honeycomb in there also, which is kind of a orangey color, but I do them separately. So this is just a plastic little dish from the Dollar Tree, and I'm basically going to just paint this entire tin, and that's only just to make it look, I don't like the shininess of it. You may love the shininess of it. You may like it just the way it is. You may see this whole this portion as, you know, a waste of time. I don't know. I personally, you know, just like things to look old. Not sure why. And I also, when I do these, I like the contrast of when I do it kind of blingy and stuff like that, a lot with the what do you call it? The old and the new together, or the, you know. So I am going all the way around this, and it will change the color, and you know, it makes it look a little older, but the shininess is, you know, it's still under there, but You may like that better. That's all I'm saying. So we're going to let that dry. And actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead. This is honeycomb. You can use whatever brand you have. This happens to be Ranger, but so I'm going to kind of mix this with the what's left over of this what is this? This is Ranger also mushroom. And I'm going to just take that and I am going to go ahead and put it in there, and it gives it a little bit more. It's going to add like more of a coppery finish to it, but I'm putting it over what I already did, which is pretty much dry, by the way. And I'm just doing that to kind of give it a different look, maybe just more of a copper type of a look, or brass, like tarnished brass, I guess. And that is how it is going to look. So trying not to touch this, because this stuff, that's one thing. Most of the time I use gloves when I use these, because it really does stain your hands for quite a long time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just use this little bit right here to go over the back that it kind of got messed up. Again, you know, perfection isn't what we're going for. We're just going for a vintage old look, okay? So that is going to give it kind of a tarnished copper patina. You know, you mix your inks up any way you want. So one thing I do need to tell you about when you do these, when you rust it, the color that you take it out is not going to be what it ends up being, because it continues to tarnish. So you have to realize that it's going to keep going, and that's really what happened to these. Now I'm going to look at our other one and see what it looks like, because I have a feeling, yep, it is very, okay. I'm going to pull this one out because it is going to continue it's going to continue to rust. You can take some of the rust off with sandpaper. You can just sand it off. And let's see, here I have this. We'll try that. And you will see that. You can just take, let me move that over here, because I know I'm going to knock that down. It's going to make a huge mess. You can take some of the rust off. Paper towel. Okay. Just take some sandpaper, and you can actually just sand some of it off. Okay. All right. And then that will take some of the rust off. So if you know, and if you want to see more metal underneath it, it will do that. Okay. So just any old sandpaper would work. Get that out of here. Okay. The other thing is this little thing that I made. I didn't even rust it. All I did, and I will do that on one of these so you can see what I'm talking about. I just took a tin, a regular old tin like this, just plain like that, and take any kind of metallic paint. This is paint that's supposed to activate when you like you add this stuff to it, and it has a green patina aging solution. But I'm not really, now that is another thing you can do with this, but I am using it just because it looks metallic. You could use any kind of metallic paint. You can use a $1.99 paint from you know, Walmart that's metallic, and it will do the same thing. And all you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to paint your tin. I mean, now I will say, if you put chalk paint or something down first, it does paint a lot faster or easier. So let's see, what did I do? I forgot. I put let's see, I've got some black chalk paint here. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to do a coat, and I don't care if it's a thick coat or not. The chalk paint gives it something to grip onto, and I just bought, this is from the dollar store. It's not anything. The top broke off of this, so I need to hurry up and use it. It was really weird. I was packing some stuff up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to hurry up and use this. the top, it just broke off. But, you know, it's from the dollar store. It's good chalk paint. I don't know if y'all have ever used the, it's just the chalkboard paint. But I'm doing this in the black. And you could use white. You could use gesso, guys. If you have some gesso, use gesso. It just has to have something to grip onto. That one that I didn't even do that, but it took more coats. And if you think about it, you know, use the cheaper paint first, and then if you've got some gesso, use gesso. I'm using black just because I want a dark base, but you could definitely use white. It would work. Okay, so we're going to let that dry for a second, and it shouldn't take very long because it is chalk paint. Anyway, you can use any metallic paint you want. I have this out because I just had it, and I'm actually using it on something else. But you could do the green patina on that and have that greenish, bluish patina on it if that's what you want to do. You know, but that's not what I'm doing, so it doesn't really matter to me right now. I'm just using it because it's metallic, and I wanted it I wanted it kind of a brown metallic, and that happened to be in my stash, so I got it out. And so all I do with that is I paint a coat on here, and then I did, you know, the rest of it. So I'll show you how to do that later. In the meantime, I am going to show you how to do one of these, okay, that are already rusted. And we're going to go ahead into that because I want to make sure that we get at least one or two of these done. Again, you can decide how rusted you want it and what you want to do. The first thing that I do is punch a hole on the top and the bottom. And I just use my crocodile, and I use the small hole. Do not use the big hole because even the small hole on this is too big. You know, I'm going to try something. It may not work, but I'm going to try it. I have a tiny hole punch here. I don't know if it'll punch through that. Let's see. Just a regular old cheapy hole punch. Yep, punched right through it. There we go. Yep, this is just a regular old hole punch. So you don't need to use that. You know, I like the smaller hole. You can do what you need to, you know, what you want. But I try to make sure that I make a hole on top, and then I make one directly under it because you want it to be balanced. And then I go right under here, and I'm going to do right here, and I do it about, okay, now this is harder. I don't know why. So I've got one here and I've got one there. Okay, now I will say it is easier with the crocodile, but that wasn't hard. It just took an extra little squeeze. So what I do is I use a lot of, you can use a lot of different things, and I'm going to show you some alternatives because I don't want people to think if they don't have what I have, they can't do it. Okay. In that one, this is something that I got on HSN. These are all these little angels and stuff that I got from, it's a little box full of them, you know, that I got from Anna Griffin. And I don't know, I've had these forever, and I need to start using what I have. So I went through and I picked out something I thought might work. And that's why I kind of like using these larger tins, because you can put bigger things in there. Like, I wonder if she'll fit. We can try her. Yeah, I mean, you do have to cut it to fit in there. It doesn't, you know, you're not going to fit the whole object. That's kind of cool. So anyway, there's a bunch of them that would possibly fit. I've got another whole bag. But technically, guys, all this is if you don't have this, and I'm sure a lot of people don't, all this is just little cutouts. Okay, it's just cutouts, and it's doubled. They're doubled. Okay, and they just have some foam dots in between them. So you could just get two little cutouts. Okay, I'm going to move the camera back this way a little bit. I think it's too far up. There we go. Okay. they're doubled, and all they did is put foam dots in between them. Okay, so you could use any type of cutout that you have. You know, you could take Santa Claus, put him in there. You can take, you know, just some, you can put in whatever you want. It just doesn't, and you do not even actually have to double them. You could just pop them up with some foam dots in the back. The reason the doubling works is it makes them sturdier and it gives them more dimension. But like I said, you can do that with any kind of cutout. You could do it with that. See, that would work just fine. Okay, so let's just say we wanted to do one of these and it's way too, you know, way too big. Obviously, we can cut her down. We're not going to be able to have her feet or anything else in it. I'm going to put all these aside because, again, that's another hazard waiting to happen. So we've already punched the holes, and we're going to look at this image. And as long as I don't have to cut too much off, I don't want to cut that much off of the top. I'm going to have to cut it off here, and I'll probably have to go right. Where's my little scissors? Right below, right here, kind of at a circle. And I always leave it bigger than I need because then I can always cut it down. Yeah, that's actually not that bad. That will work. That will work right there. That will work. Okay. So let's say we're going to do that image and I had to cut off that much, but that's still going to be cute. Okay. So then what I'm going to do, let's move that aside. I didn't realize I had that over there. Turn that over, let it dry. Then what I'm going to do is I have to figure out what I'm going to put behind here. And I like to take either music paper or just old book page or whatever and use that. So I'm going to, let's see. I'm just going to take a piece and I'm going to put it, I'm just going to smush it down in there and with my fingers and kind of make it go around so that it gives me an impression of the circle I need. See that? Not because of the rust, just because you see it. And I'm going to cut that out. And it does, I usually cut it out a little bigger, not much, just right on the edge. And this will give me the shape that I need, or close to it. And then I just kind of put that. It doesn't matter if it's perfect or not because we're going to be doing something to it. So then what I do is I just use any kind of glue. It doesn't matter. Oh, here it is. Here they are. I put them right there. Okay, so I put those bells there because I want some bells. There we go. And I have this silver bell. So I'm going to put these bells in my solution. And I better look and see. Oh, I'll bet you our thing's already over rusted. Because I'm chit-chatting away. Let's see. No, they're not that bad. Oh, that one's doesn't need any more rust. You stop it. There we go. I think they could use a little bit more. A little bit more. And that's because I have them doubled up in there. I need to take the bottom one out. Hold on. I'll let you see what I'm doing so you don't. I'm just taking the this one out. I don't want necessarily to have them super rusted. And you'll see what I do to the ones that I over rusted. But anyway. Yeah, I think this guy's okay right here. I gotta take him out. I'm gonna put these two in there. Go ahead and just dump my bells in there with it. Okay. And we can have some nice rusted bells. And trust me, guys, you pay for things to be rusted. Doesn't see all that foam? That's rusty. And that water is actually better than when you start from scratch. So one thing to do is sometimes if you want, take some of your cheesecloth, you know, because like how we like to use our vintage things, and tear it, do whatever you want to do in pieces. I clean up my rust stuff with that and keep it because you know, that's the kind of stuff we do. Oh well, let me wipe that off. So I'm just going to take just some 3-in-1 glue. I have my hot glue gun ready because we're going to do a lot with the hot glue gun. But this can just be with this. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. However which way it fits best. I didn't do a very good job. Okay, there we go. And it doesn't fit in there perfectly, but it's going to be kind of in the background. Or you can just leave the rust in the background. You don't necessarily have to, let me move all this stuff over. I got to move that jar. I just know I'm going to knock that over. And that would be a problem. Here, this is too wet. I'm going to have to, see, I'm going to wipe up the rust with that. And later on, at some point, little pieces, it's just great to use them. You know? Just wipe up your rust. My hands are a disaster. Okay, let's see. Let me get my spray bottle out and wipe off my hands a little because, and that stuff, it's not going to really hurt your hands. It might dry them out a little bit, but it's not going to hurt you. It's just vinegar and salt and peroxide, you know, stuff we use on our bodies all the time. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want to put something around here, and you have lots of choices. You could put glitter, you could put Nuvo drops, you can put whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different things. Here, I'm still seeing drips everywhere. Hold on. Gotta keep doing it. Okay, there we go. See all that beautiful rust that you will have for other things. So, I mean, you can put whatever you want. You could put ribbon around there. I am going to use these little crystal, the chain that I have, and that's why I wasn't that worried about it going all the way around perfectly, because it's going to go all the way around. I use a lot of different things. You could actually go in there and put just glitter in a circle. I love this glitter glass. This is by Doris, and it is the old-fashioned glitter, and it doesn't look the same as just silver glitter, guys. I'm telling you, it has a very, very vintage look to it. So if you look at this, it doesn't, well, I don't know if you can tell, but it doesn't have just a regular silver glitter. It's chunky, but it has almost a tarnished look to it. And that's part of what makes it look so vintage. So I don't know. I mean, that's just something. It costs more than silver glitter, so you may not, you may not want to mess with that. But okay, so anyway, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and take my hot glue gun, because it works the best for this. And I don't do the whole thing at one time, because even though I'm telling you, my hot glue gun is super hot, which is good and bad. And I don't try not to put too much, because I don't want it to look, I cut off a piece usually because I don't want to be messing with the whole thing. That's why I have little tiny pieces everywhere, but I use them for all kinds of stuff. And I'm just going to lay it around the edge. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. I'm just going to lay it right around the edge. Oh gosh, it's already drying. I'm just chit-chatting too much. Okay. Put that in there. Nope, I got to put more because it dried. See, that's why I don't do very much at one time. And I actually turned my glue gun down a little bit because it was so hot. It's very dangerous. Mine, I have one that you can regulate the temperature a little bit. Well, actually a lot, but and it has kind of a nozzle that is a little bit less, where it just comes out. I have multiple glue guns, but the one I was using the big one I used. It just died on me, and I thought, you know, I'm going to get one that will work better. And it was not that expensive because, you know, they're just, oh, I hope that fits. Hope I didn't cut it too short on my guesstimate. So I hope you can see what I'm doing, guys. I'm just putting glue around the edges. Okay, and then I'm just laying this in there. And it's basically just going to be some background bling, really. Oh, I'm one little thingy too short. That's, ow, it's okay. I don't think anybody will notice. I will put another little dot in there. Well, let me cut one off, and I'm going to put it in there. I think it's just one. Put some glue in there. This is actually a very forgiving little craft because a lot of the stuff we're doing, I know it sounds stupid, but it will be covered up. So you're going, well, why are you doing it? Because it all adds up. It all adds up to a really cool looking little ornament, okay? So anyway, that is your little thing that you've basically put that in there. Like I said, if you don't have that, just put some glue in there, put your glitter in, and that will work too. That's used to be all I had, and I didn't have that stuff. Another thing you can use that I used, and I was going to do it, I'll probably do it on the next one, is if you have like these little pearls that are these beaded pearls, or if you just have plain old stuff from the craft store, you know, you can individually put each individual thing down. Or let's say you have seed beads. Seed beads would work great. I mean, you could just put some seed beads in there. You could definitely do just stuff like this. This would work just as easily. You're just going to put them in individually. That's all you're going to do. Honestly, guys, any of this stuff would work. So just think about that. You don't have to have what I have. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I got to get a move on. We're going to run out of time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some filler behind here. And what I use for filler is I use any of these little, this kind of, mesh stuff. They call it ribbon, but I don't know. And I have all different colors and, you know, whatever. I mean, the gold would look good, but I want to be able to see this. I think I'm just going to use the silver. We're going to keep it simple so I don't have to think too much so we can hurry up and get done. I cut off a piece, and of course it is going to have glitter all over. This is a glittery project, guys, and I'm really excited about it. I was really excited to get all my glitter out, okay? So we have all that in there, but what I do is I just kind of bunch this up a little bit, and I make it kind of into a little poofy circle. And the idea is I want it to go behind here. I'm trying to get it to fit inside where you can see most of our little thingies, just like that, okay? And the reason I'm doing that is you need a filler behind there because she is going to not go all the way to the back. Okay, she's not going to go all the way to the back. So you could, I mean, you could put foam in there. You could do whatever. But I use that because it sparkles a little bit in the back. And see, you can barely see the little blingy things. But you know what? That's okay because you do see them when you're all done. And it really depends on what you put back there, you know, and what image you use. Some images you're going to see it more than others. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of make my little poofy thing as more glitter gets all over the place. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I use my glue gun to glue this down. And so I'm just going to put a little dab of glue in the middle right here. Just to kind of keep it in there. All right, and I put it in. I really do try and keep it within the inside because I want it to, you know, I still want to be able to see some of my bling. And you can always put more glue and move stuff over, and of course it's going to cover, it's not going to be perfectly in there, but that's kind of what it's going to do, okay? And then what I do is I take my thing and I kind of make it, I think I could possibly cut it down a little bit more. Let me see here. Width-wise, I think it's okay. I just think I don't want that star bent on top, so let's see what that does for me. I think what it is it's this part over here. I don't think there's a way to get it to, I don't think there's a way to get it to, you can bend this a little bit too, by the way. Yeah, that's just going to have to be the way it is, because, well, maybe I could cut that a little bit and it would work better. Let's see. Yeah, that helped a little bit. Okay. All right. So she's going to have to go like that. I don't put her in yet. What I do at this point is I put, this is called iridescent paste, and it's clear. You can use anything like this. I bought stuff for $1.99 before at Walmart that did the same thing, but I happened to get this on clearance at Hobby Lobby, so this is what I have. But like I said, you can get the exact same thing for, you know, I only paid $2.99 or $2.24 for it. But anyway, what I do is I go over her. What this does is it seals it and seals her, and it also gives it kind of an iridescent look to it. And there's like a gazillion products that you can use on here, guys. If you want to, you can get out of all your glitter paste, get all your stuff out, and have a blast. I mean, if you can't do it at Christmas, when can you do it? And so I basically go over the whole thing, and it does seal it, and it also gives it a little bit of a shine, a little bit of a iridescent shine. Of course, the more coats you put on it, the better, but you don't want to cover their face too much or any of that. So ultimately, you still want to be able to see your image, you know. That's why this stuff's pretty good, because it does give you a little iridescence there. It's just basically, I think, glue with glitter in it, you know. So then I let that dry. Okay, so now on the one that I did here, I actually put paint on it, and I'm not going to do that on this one. This one I'm going to leave it the rust, and that way you can kind of see the difference, you know, if you do it that way. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put my jewelry on. Let's see, what am I going to use this? I'm trying to remember what I decided I was going to do, if I am going to. Okay, so you can use any amount or any kind of stuff that you already have. I mean, this is part of a necklace, okay? I might use it on this one. We shall see. I don't know. And then, let's see, do I have other beads I want to use on there? Like, I might use a couple of these. A clear one like that. Let's see what other ones I have I might use. I've got these little spacer things. I could do, this one has kind of a coppery old look. I like that. That might go good with it too. Yeah, I could do that. I don't know if I want all of those on there. We'll see. So anyway, you can do however you want to configure it. It's all up to you. I don't really have, let me see, maybe I'll use the gold one. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'll use, I'm just trying to make it look a little different. That might be pretty. Now I use the silver. I'm going to use the silver. I'm thinking too much, guys. It always happens to me. Okay, let me move this and put it in the water. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is this is a wire that I bought that's already rusted. You don't have to use an already rusted wire. And since I know how to rust and I taught you how to rust, you can just get some cheap wire from the dollar store and rust it. Okay, I was very lazy. It was pretty inexpensive. If I can find that link, I will put that out there for you. But anyway, I'm going to use some of that because I like the look of rust, obviously. And I'm going to go ahead and take a piece, I don't know, probably about 10 inches. Better long than short because, you know, you can always cut it off. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a kind of a loop like that. And I am going to thread my beads on the way that I want to have them be on my thing. This is the top bead would be up here. And I have no idea. Let's see. Let's do the small bead. Hopefully it fits through here. Sometimes this is the thinner wire, but it may not fit through here, so we shall see. Plus these two are not together. Okay, good, it works. So I'm just putting it through both wires, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave about, you know, I don't know, that much for the loop on top to hang it, okay? Then I'm going to put another bead. I don't know which bead I'm going to put next. Let me see. I like to put my bigger one. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to cut this because honestly, it's bugging me because they're not even. So it's causing kind of a problem. Okay. So I need to cut it a little bit. And it's going to be too long anyway. Okay. It's easier to thread these through if they're even. So I'm going to put this bigger kind of crystal bead over here. Okay. And then I'm going to put, I don't know. Let me see. I think I want to put this one next. I think this would be pretty. And then maybe this pearl bead. So that's going to be my configuration of my beads that I'm putting on top. You do whatever you have. I mean, actually almost all of this came, except for that, from old jewelry or the dollar store. So, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and put this inside the hole. I'm going to figure out what's the top and what's the bottom. I don't know that it really matters too much, but, you know, let's see. This should be dry by now. I really don't want to bend that star too much. So we're going to go with this as the top. And is it going to go sideways a little bit? Yeah, so we're going to go with this at the top. So I'm going to put this through the hole. The teeny hole that we made, and I like that better because the other hole's a little bit big. So I'm going to put it through there, and I'm going to figure out where I want it to stop. And I think for the most part that's good there because that gives me a good top on there. And there's two things you can do. You can put a bead on the bottom. Okay, and this is where you're going to hang your thing from. Okay, you're going to hang it from there. So, honestly, I could have put that hole a little closer to the lip there, but it'll still work. So we can take another bead, a smaller bead, and put it on the very, very bottom. Or what we can do, and I think really I'm going to do that just on the bottom part. I'm not going to do it on this part. You can bead this through and then put it there and then tie it off. Or I'm going to put this over here because I'm going to use it in a minute. What you can do, and this is what I did on the other one, is I just cut it off right about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. So I'm just going to cut both of these wires. Okay. I am going to basically just take them and split them, one going one way and one going the other. And I don't know if you can see it very well because you're talking rust on rust. Okay, but I'm just splitting those two wires, and that, like that. Okay, and what I do is I just kind of split them so that they are holding this up. Okay, that's holding your hole in there, and I will take a little dab of glue and put it in there right at that edge. Okay, just hot glue, it's fine. All right, there we go. Hold it, let it dry, and you won't see that later, so not a big deal. That's why I usually do it a little bit closer to the edge, but that's okay. All right, so I've done that, and you won't even really notice it. So the other option is you can put a smaller bead on the bottom like that, and then hot glue that smaller bead. You could do that now. You could take the bead and put it up there if you wanted to, but I don't do that. What I do is I take, we're not to that point yet, I use my glitter later and I actually cover all that up. So that is not an issue. There's a little bit right here can be cut off. A little bit too blobby. And if you don't like how you did it, hot glue comes off, so you can always redo it. Okay, so now what I do is I've got this part on. Now I want to put the bottom part on, and I have to decide on this one. Do I want to use all of these beads? I don't know. I could do that. It'd be really pretty. I'll just do it because it's already together. Okay, so this is just part of a necklace that I had, and I took it apart, and I just didn't take it all the way apart. That's one thing people need to realize. Sometimes, you know, use what you got, because, so it's got this little loop on it, you know. So I'm going to actually just take some of my rusty wire, and I'm going to just take that and just a piece, probably about 2 inches, get the two ends together like that, and I'm just going to loop this through there, okay, like that. So I've just looped it, okay, and I'm probably going to just go ahead and twist that at the bottom so it makes a little circle or a little twisty part, and then I'm going to put my two pieces together again, okay, and I'm going to thread those through the bottom hole. Oh gosh, here, I'm going to cut them again. See what happens when they come uneven, it's harder to do it. So I'm going to thread these through the bottom hole, okay, and then I have a little dangly on the bottom, okay. So that's the reason why you have to make sure that the top and the bottom are, you know, where they're right on top, because what happens, that, you know, it's gravity. You've got to have it equal, or they won't work right. So then on this, all I'm going to do is, hopefully, I'm going to just take this and twist it around. And this is what you could do on the top if you want to, guys. You don't have to do this, the glue thing on the top, on the thing. You twist it around a couple times, and that is just to get it closed on top. And then what I do is I cut one of the wires off all the way to the bottom, all the way to where it meets the other wire. I'm hoping you can see some of this. I know you can't see all of it. cut it off there, and then I just take another bead. And the reason I do that is usually on these small beads, they're not going to fit through 2 pieces of wire, even though it's thin wire. Okay, so now I have a bead just right, let me show you, right on the bottom, like that. See that? And the wire's going through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to cut this wire pretty short, but I'm going to bend it on top, either left or right or whatever, just so that the bead does not come off. Okay, I probably did that a little bit too short, but it'll still work. And you just bend it down, make sure you have it in there. Okay, and that will keep your bead from coming out. If you want to keep it from moving, you can take a tiny bit of hot glue. Okay, why is it not coming out? Okay, there we go. And just keep your bead from moving, and just put it right there, and it's not going anywhere. Okay, so I mean, you don't have to do that, but you can. And so anyway, here is your little ornament thing that you've made now. Okay, and that little bead thing, you could do the same thing on the top if you want to do that on the top. Okay, but I wanted to show you both ways because I'm going to show you how you can do it, deal with covering anything you want. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue, and I'm using my art glitter glue because it dries fast, but you may not want to use that. I just kind of blob it on the edges like this. Okay, honestly, I don't want it going down that far. If it does, not the end of the world. And I'm going through all the, this is ridged, so, and I'm doing it blobby on purpose. I say blobby, I don't know if that's even a word, but that's how we're doing it. And I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around, okay? And I usually get a little paintbrush. I don't want it to go down too far, but see where we had our little blob right there? I just cover that up. I just put a little bit of glue on there, and I just go around and kind of spread it out a little bit all along the edge. And you don't have a ton of time with art glitter glue, but when you glob it on like this, you have a little bit of time, enough, I think. Go all the way around, okay? And putting this glitter stuff on, to me, is the last thing you do, because if you have to do all that handling stuff that we've done, you know, beforehand, what happens is all of your glitter starts chunking off. Okay, then I just take my glass glitter, and I am just gonna, of course I've got my paper underneath it, and I'm just gonna glob it in there. Make sure you have your paper underneath because you don't want to waste it, and go all the way around. Okay. And that will dry pretty quickly because it's art glitter glue. That's why I use it. If you want to, okay, and this is obviously you don't have to, if you wanted to, you could put glitter on the outside part over here. Okay, I usually don't, but you know, that's an option. You could definitely do that if you want to really glitter it up. So that is our base right there, guys. Okay, and then of course you put your glitter back, because this, I mean, I don't know, it is expensive, but honestly this jar has lasted me a really long time, so you know, it's not as cheap as silver glitter, but I can tell you it is very different. Okay, so that's going to dry, and we're going to let that dry a little bit, okay? Because before we do the last part, we're gonna let it dry, because I don't want to be messing with it and knocking the glitter off. So I'm going to put that aside, and we're going way over time, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I don't want to make a second video. Okay, so here is our gosh, it's not even all the way dry. All right, here is our tin that I did with black. And what I'm going to do with that, let me get my heat gun out because this should be dry by now. So I don't know. I think it's because I had it turned over. It wasn't getting any air. The thing about using metal paint is that then it still has a metal look to it. So I am just taking this bronze paint and I'm going over the black. Okay, and I don't care if it's perfect. Now see the difference between when I tried to do it. I did do it before without having the chalk paint underneath it, but it's really not the right way. You don't want to use the expensive paint twice. It's better just to have a base coat. I mean, you could just use gesso. The thing about using white gesso, if you don't do it perfectly, then you're going to have white in there, but it doesn't matter because when you see the next step, you know what? It probably won't matter. So I am just going over the whole thing. And remember, this was the one that we started out with just silver. We did not patina it with anything. Okay. Now some parts are chipping. That's okay. No problem. And then let me dry that off, and then we're going to do the inside. Okay. So if it bubbles or chips or does any of that, well, that's good. That's not a bad thing. All right. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I just take just some chalk paint. You can use any color you want. Let's see, I think on the one that I used gray, but we can just use white on this if you want to. Well, the reason I didn't use white before is I thought it was a little bit too stark. Let me try Milk Jug. It's a little kind of off-white, and this is just folk art. You know, not anything really, you know. Let me see, I'm going to find the right brush for this. I want to dry brush this on, so I don't want it to be too... Okay, so I am going to take just a little bit of this, and I am going to basically dry brush, which is like you don't want your paintbrush just loaded. This brush is not really working all that great, but anyway, you're just doing that. And basically what you're trying to do is still have the metal showing through, but you're going to coat it with paint. And I like this look too. I mean, I like it. I actually like to do this on the rust too, like on the stuff that's already rusted. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that, but I don't know if we're gonna have time. I'm trying. We're already over time. Okay. I might have to do this in two. We'll see. And I'm doing the back. Okay. So that's kind of how it is. And that's about how I like it. And I do that on the inside. And I'm just taking some of the paint off of my brush because I don't want to cover 100% of all that work that we did of putting the metal paint on there. And I don't know if you can tell, but if you look at this paint, it has a metallic look to it. So you could use any, in my opinion, you could buy the cheap paint at Walmart and, you know, the metallic paint and use it. It would work just fine to do this step that we just did. All right, if you have any rub and buff, anything like that. Okay, so that's basically all I did. If you have too much on there, you can always, you know, get a wipe and take some of it off. I don't know if I can do that like here. So you can just, you know, take some of it off. I actually think this is pretty good. So we're going to leave that, and then that is all we're going to do with that. As far as what's different than what we already did, okay? So basically then you're going to go through the same steps that we went through with this, and it will give you something like this, because that's basically all I did with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that aside because I wanted to just show you that you can get a really cool effect without doing the rust. And I also wanted to show you this. So here's our one that we did that looks like a kind of a brass patina. This would be really pretty. I think it has a goldish look to it. And I think that would be really, really pretty with a lot of gold in there or something like that. It would be really kind of a neat look. So those two, I want to make sure that you see that. Now, of course, you could also, on that, you could, you know, put some chalk paint on there if you don't like the look completely. You wanted to add. So let's try it on a rusty one. Let's try a really rusty one that I probably I have to do something with it anyway because it's too rusty. Now see, that's cool, isn't it? I think. You can really see the rust through there, but it's not quite as, you know, as much as it was. Put some more on there. I don't want to cover all the rust, but you know. Yeah, I really like that. This is cool. Really cool. I love it on the rust. Yeah, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. See, so if you over rust, or maybe you want to over rust to begin with, so that you have this kind of patina, you know, you could do it with white, you can do it with whatever color you want. You could do it with red, it'd be fine. Yeah, I think this looks really, really cool. So, yep. Now see how that looks? That is really cool. I think I love that. I really do. I think that is really, really cool. A little bit more up here, I think. There we go. Yep. All right. Yeah. So I see that as just a really fun way to add to the rust look. You know, put some chalk paint on there. Okay. That is really cute. I like that. But anyway, that's just to give you an idea of the different things you can do. Honestly, this is basically the same as what I did here. Now, the only thing that I did add is I did take some silver rub and buff, which is probably wasn't necessary, but I took a little bit of it and I added a little bit of that to the edges. I don't, you know, and I think it does add dimension to it. So I did do that all the way around it. So that's something you may want to think about. I went in the inside a little bit, just on the ridges that were standing up, and it just really did give it a little extra, I don't know, I'm not sure, something. So I did do that. And I'm going to do a little bit of that on here. The thing is about this, you know, I don't want to cover too much of the rust up. But I did take some rub and buff and go all the way around on the other one. And I can do it on this one, just barely touching the edges. Okay, a little bit on the back. Just kind of squishing it around a little bit. And I did a little bit on the end. There we go. So that was pretty much, you know, I don't know if that stuff's necessary, but I thought it did help the overall look. So now the last thing you're going to do with this, guys, is you are going to take your person and glue her down, or your whatever your thing is, okay? And because you have that cushion back there, that's what you're going to glue it to. So basically, you just take your hot glue and you're going to kind of line this up. Make sure you got the top and the bottom lined up. Put your glue. I put my glue on my person or my thing or whatever I'm doing. I don't cover the whole thing. I just put it kind of mainly in the middle, and then if there's like a long piece like that, and then I will just take it and plop it where I want it. Okay. And you remember how we put that little pearl on the bottom? You want to make sure you get it behind that. Okay, come here, here we go. There we go. All right, so she is in there right behind the little pearl, okay? And that is what I did. Okay, then what I did is, if you want to, you don't have to do this. I just took some, this was just some crinkled seam binding. You can take sari silk, you can take whatever you have. And I just kind of tied a bow at the very top, or you could do it on the bottom. It doesn't really matter. Right here, I just tied a bow. Of course, you can do any color you want. Like red probably would be really pretty with this, but I'm not going to go hunting for my red ribbon. And I just tied a bow right here. I don't think I did that very evenly, but oh well. And just left it at the top so that you have, you know, just a little, I don't know, little extra interest of texture, I guess. And then I always mess with my bows and get them exactly the way I want them, you know, and then I'll glue them probably. Like I'll, you know, just put them where I want, and then I put a dab of glue. But for the most part, you get the idea. So that's how I did it, and those are some different ways that you can do different patinas and work with them. We're just going to not have time to do any others, but it's the same process, and you put whatever it is that you want to put in there, because, you know, the sky's the limit, guys. You don't even have to put just paper items in there. You could take old jewelry and put it in there. You could do it. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I mean, honestly, if you wanted to, you could just take some greenery and, you know, maybe take a piece of that and put it in there if you wanted to. You could take, I don't know, I bought these things from the Dollar Tree. You could put some of those in there. I don't know. You can make it as complicated as you want to do it. I personally think that these are not that hard to make. They're fun. Once you start, you know, once you get all your stuff out and start making them, you can make 20 of these in one evening, and then have a bunch of presents, and, you know, then you have a little stash, or use them for your tree, you know. But anyway, that is how you do it. And here's the other one. Now this one, remember, I didn't do any what do you call it? Any rusting. That was just, this is the non-rusted one, and here's the rusted one. So, you know, you decide what you want to do. So I will see you again, and we're going to be doing some more kind of craft with me things. Hopefully using things we already have. And, you know, at the end of this video, you'll see a few more that I made, because I'm going to keep going for a little while. All right, you guys take care. Bye-bye.